Good morning, first graders. Today is May 15th, 2020. It is Friday. Today in math, what we're going to do is we're going to look at some story problems and we're going to look at some strategies we can use when we come across a story problem. So the directions say, a story problem gives some facts and asks a question. For each problem on this page, underline the facts, put a box around the question, solve the problem and show your work. And then write your answer on the line. So they gave us an example. It says, there were 10 army ants. 3 went out to get some food. How many ants were left? So I can see that they underlined the facts, they put a box around the question, and then they solved the problem and wrote the answer on the line. So let's try number 1. If you have a highlighter, that is perfect for this. If you don't, a marker also works. It doesn't have to be yellow. Crayon also works. So number 1, let me see. Number 1 says, 6 ants are working hard. Some more came to help. Now there are 13 ants. How many ants came to help? So the first thing I want us to do is put a box around the question, which is how many ants came to help? And then the next thing I want us to do is read the question or the story again. So it says, 6 ants are working hard. Some more came to help. Now there are 13 ants. So what are some numbers that we heard in this story? We heard 6. So we're going to put a underline, we're going to highlight 6. We also heard 13. Now I'm going to read this one more time, and now you're going to pay attention to any special words. And remember, special words are more, less, away, fewer. All right, so 6 ants are working hard. Some more came to help. Now there are 13 ants. I heard the word more, so let's go ahead and underline that word, because that word more tells me that this is a addition problem or a subtraction problem. That is right, it is an addition problem. So, and it's asking us how many ants came to help. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use what I found and write my equation. So I have 6 ants, and then I know it's more, so it's addition. And then sum is my mystery number. And I know there are 13 ants in the story. Okay, and go ahead and solve that equation. I'll write your answer here. Okay, number 2. There are 7 ants at the top of the tunnel. There are 4 ants in the middle chamber. There are 5 ants in the lower chamber. How many ants in all? So what is the question in this story problem? How many ants in all? So it's asking you how many they're all together. All right, so I'm going to read this one more time. There are 7 ants at the top of the tunnel. There are 4 ants in the middle chamber. There are 5 ants in the lower chamber. How many ants in all? So did we hear any numbers this time? I heard the number 7, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. I heard the number 4, I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. Also the number 5. Now, I'm going to do this one more time, and what we're going to do is pay attention to our special words, which is more, fewer, all, farther, all right, or less. There are 7 ants at the top of the tunnel. There are 4 ants in the middle chamber. There are 5 ants in the lower chamber. How many ants in all? Do we hear any special words there? We heard the word all. And when I hear the word all, that tells me that we're adding. All right, so let's go ahead and write our equation. So we still have 7, then there was 4, and then there was 5 more. And that gives you the answer. All right. So the next one says, there are 6 ants. Each ant has 3 seeds. How many seeds in all? So I heard the question, how many seeds in all? So I'm going to go ahead and put a box around that. And then I heard the numbers, so we're going to pay attention to the numbers now. There are 6 ants. Each ant has 3 seeds. So I heard the number 6. I heard the words 3 seeds. I'm going to read this one more time, and we're going to pay attention to special words like there are 6 ants. Each ant has 3 seeds. How many seeds in all? So I heard the word each, and each tells me that every single one of these ants has 3 seeds. Again, every single one of these ants has 3 seeds, and then it asks me how many seeds in all. And all is telling me it's an addition problem. So what are some strategies we can think of for solving this equation? Good, somebody said we could draw it. So we could draw it. We could draw 6 ants. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then each of these ants has 3 seeds. So I'm going to draw 3 seeds in each of these ants. And then I'm going to count how many seeds I have because it's asking me how many seeds in all. So we're going to go ahead and count how many dots we see, and then your answer should be right there. If you can think of an equation, also that works too. There are many ways to solve these problems. And as always, if I'm going too fast, you can always pause it and rewind it or pause it. All right, we're going to go and look at the next page now. So number 4 says, James had 17 baseball cards. He gave 9 of them to Andre. Who has more baseball cards now, James or Andre? How many more? Show your work. So let's put a box around the question, and the question's asking us, there's 3 questions. It says, who has more baseball cards? That is one question. Another question was, how many more baseball cards does this person have? Okay. All right, so we're going to read this one more time. James had 17 baseball cards. He gave 9 of them to Andre. Who has more baseball cards now, James or Andre? How many more? Show your work. So I heard some numbers. What are some numbers we heard? I heard the number 17. I heard the number 9. Did we hear anything else? No. All right, so we're going to read this story one more time, and we're going to pay attention to special words like more, away, or gave. Okay. James had 17 baseball cards. He gave 9 of them to Andre. Who has more baseball cards now, James or Andre? How many more? Show your work. So I heard the word gave, and that tells me when you give something away, that is subtracting or adding. That is subtracting, because when you give something away, you're getting less of something. So I know that there's 2 things we need to do. We need to answer this question here that says, who has more baseball cards now, James or Andre? So what we could do to solve that is We know that 17, James had 17, he gave 9 away. We can write the equation 17, take away 9, and that gives you the answer of how many Andre has. And then that is the first question. And then the second question is asking you how many more, or who has more cards, sorry. So the second, this is going to tell you how many cards Andre has. So 17 take away 9 is 8, good. And then it's asking you who has more, Andre, this is Andre's cards, or James. So which number is greater? And then the last one is asking you, how many more cards does this person have? Okay, and that's going to be a takeaway problem. So one more time, this is a 3-step problem. First thing you need to do is find out how many cards James gave to, so how many cards Andre gave to James. And then you have to find out which number is greater, 8 or 9. And then you have to solve 9 take away 8 equals what? And then you write your answer below here. All right. Number 5 is a challenge, which means it's optional, but I want you to try. Challenge. Terry went to the school store. She gave the clerk a $1 bill. She got 30 cents back in change. What might she have bought? Find 3 possible answers. Show your work. So we heard the question, what might she have bought? That is the question. And then it says, Terry went to the school store. She gave the clerk a $1 bill. She got 30 cents back in change. What might she have bought? Find 3 possible answers. Show your work. So I know that I heard the number 1. I heard number 30 cents. All right. So we're going to listen to special words now. Terry went to the school store. She gave the clerk a $1 bill. She got 30 cents back in change. What might she have bought? Find 3 possible answers. Show your work. So I heard the word change. And usually change is the money you get back when you buy something in a store. So whatever Terry bought was the leftover from the $1 bill, which was 30 cents. So you have to find out that she spent $1 first, and then she got back 30 cents. So you have to solve that equation. And then find 2 possible combinations for this page. All right. As always, be safe, be kind, wash your hands, and I will talk to you soon.